Back to the Weare Park and Rec Commission. We just came out of closed season session for hiring possible staff for Chase Park. And we're back into open session. Does anyone have any amendments to the agenda?
No.
Public comment? I don't think we have any minutes to review right now tonight.
I was not planning to bring the minutes today, therefore I do not have them to review. We will have them on our next scheduled meeting.
Okay. That is fine with me.
Flipping right through it.
So our main purpose for having this impromptu meeting is the Board of Selectmen are having a public hearing on the 29th, and they want to address the walk-in fees that we were proposing. And we had mentioned that the $2 an hour had been bounced around. I definitely had talked about being closer to $5 an hour, seeing it was 20 years ago.
$5 per person.
That's what,
Yeah. I know.
seeing as how 20 years ago it was $2 per person, so $5 per person seems to be more in line. Especially 4 people walking in, it would be roughly the same as a carload. So.
And there was an incident today where somebody from outside of town refused to pay, so they parked outside on the street
They walked in.
and walked in and did not pay because they didn't have to pay by parking out there. And they also did not receive a ticket because the officer on call said that they did not need to get a ticket because of the signage issue, which which they were told that they would get ticketed and then they didn't.
I believe the car was off the pavement too, wasn't it?
I think
No,
it was
it was not.
Oh, it was on the pavement. Oh yeah, it was in the road. It was in the road.
It was half in the road, half off.
That has nothing to do with
Still
signage.
didn't get a
That's
ticket.
a safety
And
issue,
the-
signage or not.
Yep.
The cop came in and basically told them to move, so they moved
And then
further off the dirt
At
to
which point
basically
they got
then they could
stuck.
be able
And
to.
they still got in for free.
So we will recommend at the public hearing $5 per person, which is in line with, a carload of 4
4.
people. Yeah.
Because it's going to behoove them to, if they're residents, to just get the pass rather than pay per person.
But what are you talking about? Residents who live across the street?
We know who they are.
And they want to walk in. I think that's a.
Yeah, we know who they are.
Is that a different situation? Can we even do that? You're a walk-in, you're a walk-in,
If
whether
you're
live around the
walking
corner.
in,
you're
you're
walking.
walking in.
That's true.
So unfortunately, it kind of bites us in
Because that's going to put us in the same position when we tried to let the lake residents put their boats in.
That's true.
So
Yeah,
It
yeah.
has to be, and I thought the same thing to myself because I've been a resident with the sticker on my window and had the parking lot full, and I parked on the street and I walked in.
yeah.
I always paid my $10, so, but we have to be
Yeah,
fair
makes
across to
sense.
everybody, so it has to be, if we do walk-ins, $5 a person, it has to be everyone.
Yep.
And hopefully they lift the 50% capacity very soon. Was that your only walk-in incident since we've been open? Do we know? Okay.
That I'm aware of.
We're just discouraging the people just dropping the vehicle full of people off and not paying for the
Yeah.
ticket to park. Okay, so do we need to vote on $5 a
That
person?
is our recommendation to the Board of Selectmen.
Okay. All right. Agreed?
Is there any other discussion about setting a $5 per person fee for walk-ins?
Okay.
Age? Do you want to do?
We do it-
Do you want to do seniors or kids? Say kids are $2,
We don't.
adults are $5.
No,
We don't.
can't.
We don't make that determination when they drive in.
No.
If they're a non-resident, it's $20 for your pass.
For the
So
car.
whether you have a 70-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Yeah. And
So.
Kristen's asked not to have like a zillion
Yep.
different prices.
So it would be per person, no matter the age, so infants and children would still be the same, it would be per body.
Non-resident doesn't matter.
Nope.
No,
You're
Because
walking
again,
in.
if they're a resident, it makes, cost-wise, it's in their best interest to drive in, get the sticker.
as long as the parking lot's not full,
It's full, they can't.
right.
But then if the lot's full, they shouldn't be allowed to walk in, period.
Right.
Because if we're turning away cars because the lot's full, then
Capacity is an issue
Then
at
they
that
cannot
point.
walk in because we cannot accept walk-ins because we're already over capacity in the parking lot. We cannot.
I think what we did was 50% capacity for the parking lot, 10 walk-ins.
Yeah, that's what we were.
That was our
at.
together total load.
Let's plan to the future when capacities are gone, let's
Yeah.
not be so focused on today, let's focus on tomorrow.
Right.
10 walk-ins again? We can
10
hold it to
walk-ins a
10.
day, 10 walk-ins a day, and
That could easily just be eaten up by one.
One van.
One group.
Yep. What happens when they leave? There's no way of tracking them.
Right.
Stamp on the stamp by hand,
Right.
but then they're not gonna show your hand when they're leaving.
Well, hopefully we won't have to keep the 10-person limit for walk-in,
Has it
but
ever
the,
been an issue where we had to, the beach has been so overcrowded?
4th of July,
Okay.
Yep.
that week.
And,
that-
and some hot weekends usually.
and it's, yeah, it's,
And you're right, we shouldn't be, then it's just, we're at, what is, did anybody check with capacity, the
I
fire
didn't call the
department?
fire chief.
So
no,
we're wondering
I
what the
didn't
fire
ask.
chief says about capacity of the park.
I know there is one. I mean, you can calculate it because the beach has a square footage and there is a number of parking lots, you know, I mean, it has to do, it's like, my business has a capacity because of how many exits it has and what type of business it is, so
I don't know
there,
if you can put a capacity on the outdoors though.
but it's a fenced park. So I believe with the fenced park, there's still a safe capacity of, you know, if there was a disaster and you had to evacuate. So they would look at that type of situation of where people are back. I'm not sure. I'm guessing there would be.
I don't know, I've never run into that before.
I mean, there's outside venues at concerts,
Yeah.
and they have, I would think they have capacities. I don't know,
There's seating capacity,
right?
this is a beach.
Right?
Does Hampton have a capacity?
Good question. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Good question to ask.
Yeah, we'll ask. Okay.
Any more discussion on the $5 a person
For walk-ins?
for walk-ins?
Nope.
Okay, so we'll recommend that to the Board of Selectmen.
Okay.
Field fees.
I
Okay.
have not gotten information from WAC yet regarding that.
Field fees? Okay, so,
Because we had asked at the last meeting to find out what they had put forth for maintenance and repairs on fields, and I haven't gotten that information yet.
that's fine. I think we can pretty much move forward without it, I think. I reached out to four surrounding communities: Hopkinton, Bow, Goffstown, Henniker. Goffstown replied right away with an email, like within a half an hour, which was amazing. Henniker, I actually was able to find on their website. They have a whole Town of Henniker policy regulations, rental of town athletic fields, eligible groups, who can do it. So they have it listed in who's eligible, and they rate in one of their line items, nonprofit youth athletic groups with at least 50% Henniker participation. So these are, let me read everything here for a minute.
What was the other town? Hopkinton, Henniker, Goffstown?
Bo, I reached out to Bo. I might have reached out to Dunbarton. Definitely Hopkinton though. Okay, so athletic committee will have the authority to waive the 50% resident requirement for athletic groups. Okay, so that's requirements of being able to use, so they're eligible groups: town-sponsored youth athletic programs, Henniker Community School student groups, Henniker adult athletic programs, nonprofit youth athletic with at least 50% youth participation, nonprofit adult athletic programs with at least 50% Henniker participation, Henniker Youth Boosters Association, other Henniker nonprofits, and nonprofits from other communities. So they do allow other communities as nonprofits. So they're at this point right here, line I'm saying, if you're from another community and you're for profit, you're not on our eligible list, right off the bat. Now, fees do not apply to any youth programs that are sponsored by the town of Henniker, Henniker school groups, or Henniker Youth Bolsters Association. And that I kind of had talked to the Board of Selectmen, is that would be like our WAC organization.
Yep.
They would be
Or
exempt
just
from the fees.
HYA.
Or when the middle school uses the Inison or something like that,
Right,
because
right.
they need two,
And it
they need
could
two
be-
fields at the same time.
It could be like where school groups, we could decide on that, and then it would be WAC. So they would be
Yeah.
the exempt from the fees. And then Henniker chooses to charge $150 a day for a full day, which is 5 or more hours, or it's $150 per team for the season, 8 to 10 weeks, 2 games practice per week. So you can do $150 per, am I reading that right? It doesn't sound right. when it came out.
$150 per day. Yeah, it is. Or $150 per team for
Per
one
season.
season
Okay.
for 8 to 10 weeks of 2 games or practices per
Okay.
week. So they can use, a team could use a field
Twice a week.
twice a week for 8 to 10 weeks for $150.
So they can decide, you know, how big their group is, how many fields they have, how many teams they have, and they can decide, you know, are we just doing it for a day
But
or
if
two?
you have-
Or,
But if you have
They already
two-
say that
two
that
teams-
it
if you have
has
two
to be
teams-
nonprofit.
nope. Well,
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. So it's like if a Weare team wanted to go in and use it, as long as we're nonprofit, then we can use it for that price.
right. So they're not
So they're not
allowing
allowing
profit.
for profit.
So that's an interesting question, though. When do you decide an organization's for profit or not? Like at what?
1C3.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
They
Where
have to be
has,
so it's
Registered.
their establishment of their okay.
they have to be a registered
If they're
nonprofit.
registered with the IRS as a 501c3
Boy, that makes it much easier for us. Then we don't have to decide because I'm looking at the fee scale and it's
Just show me your nonprofit paperwork and.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
but
Okay.
but
These
but just to put it out there, somebody like Seacoast is not a nonprofit; they are for profit. But somebody like FC Stars is a nonprofit, but it's still $2,000 per player to play
they are a nonprofit and they charge.
because they pay their coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Still a nonprofit.
But if they're still a registered nonprofit, then
but they're
a
registered as
nonprofit.
nonprofit. So I'm just saying that
We don't.
there's
I mean, we don't have to
You
have
don't
it
have to make that
black and
distinction.
white.
Yeah.
As long as they have a 501c, then I think we take the same idea that Henniker has
Yeah.
and roll with it.
Wait till you hear
I-
Goffstown.
wait to hear Goffstown.
This includes, so I can, okay, so this is just directly from the director. He wrote Rick Wilhelmi. He's the director. I think I said that wrong. I can tell you independent groups, i.e. travel soccer and rec soccer, independent from us. Youth football, AAU baseball, sign a facility use agreement, which we already do all that. This includes proof of liability insurance, which includes the town as additional insurer, and a fee. Our fee uses are either $50 an hour or $1,000 for the season per field.
Wow.
They have fancy lights, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to explain that they have full-time ground supervisors. And we know one of our parks volunteers the last few years, Mike, was, he full-time works for Parks and Recs in Goffstown. So they have
Yeah.
a full paid staff and seasonal laborers from May to November. He also talked about the fact that they close their fields to any use the second week of June through the third week of August. They let the fields rest and be repaired and overseed, so they don't have any summer usage of their fields.
I wish we could do that.
And they're all irrigated.
Wait a minute. Yeah, but that must not mean the baseball fields, because I go by now, and the baseball fields are in use. That one right on.
Are they
one-
are they currently now extending because they didn't have that spring baseball would be done. If you were a regular spring baseball right now, you would have been done, right? If it was
But they allow all-star. They have an all-star season, don't
They have
they?
an all-star season.
Yeah.
I've seen them in the middle of, at least.
this is
I
what he wrote
believe-
to me.
I
Yeah.
see them in the middle of the summer.
I think for our purposes, we would probably more closely align with Henniker
Yes, I would think.
because, I mean,
Yeah, they're a community.
yeah,
Their fields are like ours.
they
and
have the same approach
we actually-
to.
And our teams combined last year, my daughter and my son were both on Henniker Weare combination teams.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're going to go to high school together, so it was a great pairing. So I think it would be really fair. I mean, I like
Yeah.
what they had.
Mm-hmm.
And they also talked about selling goods to be
And, you
determined by
know-
the Board of Selectmen.
Selling what?
Goods. Henniker makes that determined by the Board of Selectmen.
What kind of goods? Like concession
Vendors.
goods? Oh, okay.
They're allowed on town, no, for profit vendors are allowed on town owned or leased property to sell goods such as food, souvenirs, or any other items. But, if you're nonprofit, then they would be able to approve that.
Really?
Henniker Athletic Committee by a majority vote reserves the right to waive fees for qualifying groups that may not have the ability to
Pretty sure I've
pay
seen
or adjust the
t-shirt
fee
vendors.
when usage times are different from those listed above. And then they have rules. You have to be over 21, you have to have insurance,
Yep.
no alcoholic beverages and everything, so. Yeah, I absolutely, so this and, so if, I mean, these are the numbers we can recommend to the Board of Selectmen, unless anybody has
I would think
more
that's fine.
discussion.
I think that's.
Henniker took all the work out of it for
Yeah,
us.
I would also like
We
to
should send
find
them a
out
thank
if
you
we
letter.
can cut and paste their rules because our facility use form is not very clear.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of, not necessarily ambiguity, but the form itself is very difficult to fill out.
Right.
I would like
So
to.
this was adopted by the
redesign.
Board of Selectmen June 3rd, 2008, so I could send them an email and ask. I don't see a copyright date.
Yeah.
change a few words.
Just change Hennecker to Weare.
Right. Well, and there's a few, like, we don't have that eligible group list is not gonna apply to us, you know, that kind of stuff. And as far as vendors, we already kind of have a policy of what vendors are allowed there currently, and we're not gonna have other vendors competing, you know, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think this is a really good outline for us to go by.
I agree.
Would you like to pass that to our secretary? Our note taker? Do you want the email from Goffstown just to have it because it was in our minutes?
There you go.
And also, this was somebody that was applying. We talked about that last meeting. Bolton can't be used because of soccer. She talked about a different field being at Inison, and we're like, we're just not having extra field usage right now, so.
Yeah.
She said, let me know if it changes.
The fields are rusting because,
Yeah,
Because
They're
they're, they're torched.
I mean,
all right.
even the one that the boys are playing on down at Allard in Goffstown
Is
is
torched, yeah.
They're not gone to seed already.
not.
They're
No,
not going
it's
to
still
seed,
it's
they're
still
just
there, but it's very very dry.
Do we need to have something officially written to bring to the Board of Selectmen, or is it a verbal agreement that they
There
approve,
needs to be something
adopt?
written, and we need a written document to read.
Okay. Not probably for the walk-in fee though, because no, I would have to change the hours, the price sheet, and add it on there, and then they would approve that. Okay. Okay. I don't remember who talked to you about this. Was it John that had mentioned it?
Yeah.
He had mentioned it at our first meeting after he joined that we wanted to be able to separate park from the town accounts, and so that we can fundraise for.
I think that's something we'll have to talk about
Let's table
later.
that until
Yeah.
later in the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go back to financials real quick. I'd like to go ahead and revisit out-of-town fees, out-of-town resident fees. for
Okay. I don't know if I have that printed out.
Do you want
Do
this?
you want to put that all down under the Chase Park
Yeah,
complaints?
so it's currently,
You can have that.
You sure?
He's talking about Chase Park.
he's talking about
No,
Chase
but
Park.
you need
Right, but
something in
we-
writing.
We're coming up on that, so let's keep
I'll
going.
print it again.
So we've
Yeah,
had,
it's down under number. We could take it under number 10
What
with
did I write?
Chase Park complaints and things like that. We could put all of that Chase Park fees in there.
You might want to leave early.
This is gonna be brought up at the Board of Selectmen meeting.
Oh, so we're still in the Board of Selectmen public
If I'm gonna
hearing?
be bringing this up at our-
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right, so we're adding this to the agenda, okay. So this is non-resident entrance fees
Yes.
for the park, okay?
What is it currently?
$20
$20 per car,
Okay.
$45 for a boat
Per day.
per day.
They do not get a season option at all.
No.
It's not an option. I got asked that today. A woman that lived in Dunbarton said, is there gonna be a non-resident
No.
season price?
There
I
is
said-
not.
And I explained that we could talk about that later.
So I think the non-resident fee needs to go up substantially.
So
We cannot prevent non-residents from coming in.
right,
Um,
not without the biggest fight.
Or we can dissuade them.
The way
Uh-huh.
the fee reads, from what I'm told, it's gonna be a very difficult fight. But I also understand the concerns of some of the taxpayers, that they can't get in because the park fills up really fast. Why don't we increase the rate for the non-residents?
So I personally led the petition a couple years ago with the 100+ signatures, and definitely was looking to see how we could get it resident only. And so
This is a
were
way
able to bring it from, $10, so it was $10 for probably the last 5 years plus, it was $10 a car. So we just last year, for the first time, increased it mid-season to $20 a car.
I think it
So,
should be way higher than that.
and that's something we can talk about. I'm not opposed to that.
I'm not opposed
For
either.
non-resident car, $50.
Because I would really,
Because we can't restrict the non-resident from coming in, but we can make damn sure that it's.
well, Clough State Park is right down the street, much larger facility.
Yep.
You know, rangers
And
and
it's not funded by the Weare taxpayers from the property.
and
tax
so
base.
much more room. Their beach is just 700 feet of sand.
And no bathroom.
They always had porta potties, I thought.
Do they?
I always thought they had
What is
porta
what
potties.
is what is the day rate for Clough?
It's per person,
It's-
so
It
it's.
used to be $2 a person, but that was years ago.
I have it right here. It's approximately, a car of 4 average people would be about $24. So Clough State Park's adults are $4, and children 6 to 12 are $2. So if you have,
That's this year's rate?
That's last year's.
yeah, they didn't change it. I looked at it just a little while ago. Wait a minute, yep, okay. So I had done
Well, I don't want to do it per person.
so
I
a
want to do it
family,
per car.
a family of 4, if 3 of them were over age 12 and one was under 12, it was $14 to go to Clough. And that's when Chase Park was at 10. So this was last year. And then if you went to Greenfield, let's see, that was Clough, Greenfield, and Sunapee were all the same.
Those are state-funded parks.
Yep. Now, if you did a family B, so let's say you had 4 people over 12 and 1 child under 12 was $22. So if you had 4 people in your car, it was cheaper to go to State Park, and if you had 5 people in your car,
That's at the old rate.
it was cheaper to go to today's price of $20. If you have 4 people in your car, unless they're all infants, it's cheaper to go to a state park. If you have 5 people in your car, it's cheaper to go to Chase Park at the $20 rate. 5 people in your car is $22, assuming one's under age 12.
I don't want to get into ages.
No, we're not going to get into age, but that's your car load.
I agree
So-
with John. We
We're
have gotten so much.
out of town.
No,
the
no,
second
it's-
that Glen Lake closed.
It's not.
Just-
It's not. We have so many upset residents that they cannot come, and
wanna-
by kind of keeping it status quo, we're continuing to feed that ire. I
Yep.
think it would be responsible to listen to their concerns and say, this is the step that we're taking in order to make Chase Park more accessible to the residents whose taxes,
And
in
more-
addition to their car fee, are paying for this because
would-
they're paying taxes and they're trying to get a sticker and then they can't use it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'd like to go ahead and just throw this out there, because we have walk-ins. Okay, out of town, somebody from Manchester comes in, sorry, it's $50 for the car. I'll just park outside, now they're a walk-in. Why do we just not, what if we just restrict no walk-ins?
Because Bill,
Unless you're
and
a
I'll tell
resident
you,
of town.
yeah, I will tell, yeah, and that's part of, so.
I kind of like that.
As long as they're a resident of town, so we recognize kids that came today.
From parking on the street and just walking in.
Yeah,
And now you don't have at least 10 people or any of that stuff.
Is that going to be difficult? Well, I guess it's not going to be difficult for the staff if we have signs on the fence, no walk-ins.
well, I have to say, we are littered with signs right now. Absolutely littered with
I'm just
signs.
wondering, are we asking for a hardship of the staff
Well,
to
we
police
tell them
walk-ins?
you're not allowed to walk in. And if somebody walks in and they don't obey, then we can call the police, you know what I mean? But there are kids up the road that we know.
And that would be residents, and
Yeah,
I
that's different.
So at that point, then, I think, and it's gonna snowball, for somebody that is local enough to walk. People that live on Reservoir or whatever, Waterman, or any of the other local roads that they can walk in, we give them a pass, give them something. Yes, it's a piece of paper that could easily be passed around, you have to have the honor policy, but give them something. Give
Well,
them
I
some
mean,
kind of
if
identification.
we,
If it's a kid, they're not gonna have any.
they're gonna have a school ID. That would
But
tell
do you
them they're a
know-
resident. I know, they don't have their school
don't even
IDs.
have
You cannot ask the children
To bring an
to
ID.
bring their
You're right.
school
You're right.
ID.
No, you're
And
right.
you can't and you can't say, well, bring an adult.
Our gate attendant has to know you and she works at the school. No, I'm just kidding. No.
It's gonna snowball. If we go that route and you substantially raise the rate of the
Okay.
non-residents, now they're gonna park outside.
Okay.
How do you prevent that? You prevent the walk-ins, with the exception of town residents. Okay, now you have town residents, how do you identify a walk-in? If I'm walking in, I may not have my license, because I live 2-3 houses up.
Oh, you might have to go get it.
No, that's not correct.
Well, no, that's a good question. So what do you propose? I mean, if we do succeed as a Board of Selectmen to approve that non-resident cars are a higher
And
fee,
name registration.
$50.
If you live in there, if you live
Let me have your
3 houses
name.
down, what's your name? It's just it's on an approved walk-in board inside the gatehouse.
We have
Yeah.
all.
Well, we have the tax
we
record-
have
we have the tax
books.
records.
So literally
Tax
telling
record's
us,
not gonna tell you who little Joey 6-year-old is
Yeah,
I
but
would
if
hope
he
that he'd know
says
his parents' names.
mom and dad are here, or they're coming with a sitter because they're 6, so they're gonna be able to say,
I live at this address,
And we could look it up.
This who owns the house.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's definitely a route to go.
But then you also have the kids that don't have the same last name as.
No, but if
but they know who owns the house.
they would know, I would think that as far as the parents' name. and
Correct.
stuff.
But I'm just saying, if it's, you're going strictly by, my name is John Smith and my mom's name is Betty Ross.
Right. Look up Betty Ross as
You know.
the tax
Yeah.
person. Yep.
You're gonna have some deception no matter what you do, but I think this is the easiest way to,
Combat it.
Yeah.
It's-
yeah.
It's going to be pretty hard for out of towners to say I live at this street address with this name.
Yeah.
That's going to be so in town. If there's, I mean, oh, I know so and so lives around the corner.
Especially if
You're
we start
probably-
getting the
you're
same
probably in
address with
town,
everybody
yeah.
else's. Yeah.
But
Sorry, that's the news ones.
here's another thing, is how far of a perimeter around Chase Park are we going to give?
It would be town. It would be residents. Residents
If
can
they're
walk
residents,
in.
walk in, file,
and non-residents.
No, it shouldn't be a perimeter. If they're a town resident, I don't care if they live down on Gould Road. If they wanna
Right.
walk here, by all
Right.
means, come on up.
Or ride their bike or something like that. Because at that point,
We don't
it really.
get that many walk-ins.
No, we don't.
To really even warrant this much worry.
But we do have to have a policy.
But we do
We have to have a policy.
If you're gonna be
Yeah.
if you're gonna be charging out the you-know-what for non-residents, they're gonna just park outside. And
Yeah.
now you have the walk-in issue. Just restrict the walk-in.
So walk-ins are residents only.
Yep.
Is that going to be hard to police? I mean, I don't
No.
think so.
I don't think it's going to be that hard. And I think
Is
the
she
part of
saying
the
any
problem is
comments
that-
on
Yes,
our
Kristen's
ideas? Okay.
giving us, the supervisor is giving us comments.
Okay.
She's saying that they
Kristen
try to
Lundeen is
do,
remotely.
the residents always try to say, oh, I'm paying for the car in back of me, and the person doesn't have a, she says
well.
there's dishonesty as far as, hey, you need a Weare
You need rare proof of residency.
proof of residency, period.
Yeah.
And
So are they still really giving her that kind of trouble?
Yes.
they're giving
We
the
had-
staff that term of control, yes.
Yep.
They try,
We are not a pay it forward park. We're gonna put a sign up. We are not a pay it forward park.
Yeah.
I think what ends up happening is
And they have people who
residents
vote.
try to get their friends.
And
come
it
with
happens all the time.
yes, it happens all the time.
I
Person
had
says-
somebody ask me.
They have to
I
fit
had
in
somebody
their
flat
car.
out say, "Oh, you can get me a sticker then." And I went, "And it's a friend of mine who lives in another town." And I went, "No, I cannot. Like, it's not happening." I had somebody call one of our staff members the B word the other day, and it was an out of town person. And then when I went and spoke to the out of town person who was standing next to a non-smoking sign, smoking, and told her she had to go, she put her cigarette out and gave me a lip and was really miserable about it. And then she yelled at the gatehouse on the way out.
Do you like? I mean,
I like the idea. I think I like the idea of raising the rate a lot.
So we would raise the rate for non-residents significantly.
that's car. We didn't talk about boats yet.
Okay.
Yep.
I'd leave the boat the way it is.
Yeah, because they're still gonna have to pay, I mean, they have
They're
to
now
pay.
a boat's paying less than a car. $5 less than a car.
Yeah, which is
They're not on the beach. Should we?
well, they are on the
should we-
beach. Just so you know.
the boat people are on the beach too.
Yeah, they're absolutely on the beach. They go out on their boat and then they come back and park it. And sometimes they park it on that dock and then they come off and go on the beach.
Okay, so
Sometimes.
make non-resident boat and non-resident vehicle the same fee.
Same
$50.
price.
It's flat rate.
Whether okay. Okay.
Doesn't matter if you're a boat, it doesn't matter if you're suburban or a little smart car.
That's going to be a little bit easier for them
Yeah.
at the gatehouse. So then we restrict. So it'll basically have to read non. I mean-
Non-resident, flat $50. Doesn't
Right.
matter.
Right. Well,
Whatever.
Okay.
And if
Hold
you're
on.
and if you're trying
on.
to walk in,
We have non-resident don't we have non-resident veterans, non-resident seniors? Don't we have those prices too?
No.
no.
We don't.
If
Only
for
resident.
us, Only
Only
resident.
resident, senior, and
It's been
resident
a while since I've
veteran.
looked at it.
Yeah.
I thought I printed it out. Okay. Okay. It's been a
Just
little-
flat.
Okay. So walk-ins.
No
No
walk-ins,
out-of-town
no
walk-ins.
non-resident walk-ins.
Walk-ins with proof of residency.
Yeah.
Unless you're on, unless,
And if we're
Walk-ins.
So what would you do today?
Proof of
Because they
where
had
resident
the
only.
person who didn't want to pay the fee parked outside. Of course, it'll
Yeah, but
help
that's
once the signs go up and they get ticketed and towed. Hopefully that will.
signs are on the way, that I can tell you.
Well, I know because I was at the last 2
Do
weeks
you have
ago.
something? We have a
I want
public
to hear your
comment.
whole, I want to hear your
We have
whole,
public comment, but you have to wait.
I want to hear your whole, I want you to start again. I didn't hear it. What are you going to do about?
Walk-ins.
Walk-ins, because they're gonna park
They're
outside.
not allowed.
Non-resident walk-ins will not be allowed.
Their car's gonna get towed.
Okay.
But are you,
Town residents can walk in with proof of residency. They have to have something that shows that they live in town.
Or can prove that,
Yeah.
with their name and address.
Right. I mean, someone who lives on Farmer Lane, which is that little lane right up on the other side of the Vaninis, I mean,
Waterman.
Waterman Lane, whatever that little,
Yeah.
someone who lives,
We don't get a lot of walk-ins. We get some.
I don't really think I don't think it's
But-
gonna be a problem, but we have to
But
set the
Dave's concern
policy.
is people
It'll
seeing a
increase.
$50 sign, I'm not gonna pay that, I'm gonna wanna park and just walk in. And what we're mentioning is there's definitely a lot more no parking signs
I
coming.
mean, yes.
And they're gonna do it. And when they try to do it, we're gonna say, we need to have proof. And if you're gonna walk in and you're a non-resident, you're $50.
And we might need to hang a no
Oh, if they
parking
walk in and
sign.
they're a non-resident, they don't get
They don't
in.
get to come in. Yeah,
don't
they
come
don't come
in.
in at all.
That's putting
Yeah.
a lot on our staff.
I think we have to try it. And we're gonna run into some stuff and we'll have to make some policy changes along the way. But I think we should we should try it.
I think we have to be responsive to the residents in town.
Well, I
that-
definitely want to be responsive. It's just,
In the end,
Do you have
Dave,
any ideas?
I think in the end, what you're gonna
He
see,
does get his
Dave.
wife a bulletproof vest.
Yeah. No, I think in the end, no, he's right. There's a lot on our staff. Our staff are underpaid and there's a ton of work that they have to do.
and
Just to put up with
they're getting,
They've been getting barreled this year.
I think people are trying to say, oh, you're all out, it's all out on social media, where people, I mean, there was a
Yeah.
gentleman who was just being,
He wasn't a gentleman.
That was the boat registration, right?
vote registration was just being
We're gonna
rude
talk
because
about that
I,
later.
I don't have, I have to have a current boat
He
registration.
lied and said he didn't have it, but he actually had it.
Yeah,
We
he
know
wanted
who
to
he
push
is.
we had to push the issue to see if I could get in without it. And then once
Yeah.
the staff stayed
It
firm and
must have
said
been a
no.
non-resident trying to get a resident.
that
fee.
was-
That's for another, that's another agenda.
Okay.
That's another
item, so
agenda
All right.
item, but
We have to go back
Public
to-
comment about our, yes.
yeah.
Okay, are we keeping it at 10 people per day?
Well, we're saying that there won't be any walk-ins unless they're.
And she's saying, do we restrict residents to 10 walk-ins
Yeah.
per day?
Right now, we're only doing that because of COVID.
So yes, that would still be currently, the only walk-ins would be Weare residents, and they would only be 10, until the Board of Selectmen lets us lift that
Yeah.
capacity restriction. But normally, next year, if that's not a restriction, we could have as many Weare walk-ins.
Dave, I
as
think-
wanted to pile on top of each other.
I'm so-
Sooner than next year.
I think that we have an issue with, I totally understand, and trust me, I've been down Lake almost every day to go through there, and I've been talking to people on the beach about putting out cigarettes and everything else. And I understand what's going on down there. I do think in the beginning this is gonna be hard, because what we're doing right now is we're reeling everybody in. Everybody's been allowed to do whatever they've wanted for years.
Yep.
I'm
And
not
they're
talk-
used to it.
And they're used to it, and they're used to coming there and being and ignoring the no smoking signs and ignoring the drinking thing. And I know we had people down there drinking recently,
Yep.
and that was highly unfortunate. And unfortunately, that was a resident issue. right there.
Blatantly drinking.
Blatantly drinking and ignoring, and that was really sad. But I think if we start doing this, we're going to nip it in the bud where they're going to go, that's it, I'm not going back there. And those are the people we want to have say, see you later, we're not going back there.
We want people to want to go and enjoy.
$50 for a carload of 4 to go spend an entire day at Chase Park and
Even
do
if
it
it's
the
only
right
one
way.
person, doesn't matter. It's just-
No, right,
No,
but
but
we're
I'm
just
just
saying
saying,
it's not,
It's not really that expensive.
you're not looking
If
to
I'm
break
looking,
rules and cause troubles, it's not that much
yeah, it's
money.
not that much money. If you want to spend the entire day at the beach with your kids,
That's a blanket statement that all out of towners, all non-residents are troublemakers. That's
No,
not true.
no, and
No,
I'm
no,
not
that's not
saying
what we're
resident or
saying.
non-resident, right. No, I
We're-
understand what he's saying when I put
Yeah.
it like that, but it's not,
We have to make it, we have to keep it family friendly,
Mhm.
but we also have to protect the interests of our taxpayers who
Exactly.
want to enjoy this, and they can't because
you're right,
at 10 o'clock in the morning when the park's at capacity
yep.
yeah.
and.
You're absolutely right.
a bunch of-
And I'm one of those people that actually hasn't brought the kids to the lake yet this year because I can't get there at 10 o'clock in the morning
Yeah.
and get
And
a
we have
spot.
people that unfortunately are not bringing their kids because of the reputation the lake
I know
has.
people personally in town that will go to Clough
Because
because there's more
Chase Park's
space.
been, well, not even the space, but just because of Chase Park being what it has
Yeah.
gotten to be, which is smoking and drinking and problems.
And crowded.
And crowded.
That's my suggestion.
I do
So-
like it. I think it's gonna help.
I like it.
In the beginning, it'll be harder.
Dave, do you have more talk about it?
Does Kristen have any other comments about it?
Just,
Having signs
I
and
think that we
papers to back it
really
up.
just have to meet, the staff has gotta be, nope, you don't have your registration, sorry.
Yeah.
And if you're not gonna give me
Which
your
they
registration,
should have been anyway.
if you can't prove that you're, you need to give me your car registration that said it, period. Because
That's what-
obviously, you need something to prove to me you live here, otherwise, no. And if they start really bullying the staff, I mean, I've heard that
That's a point you call the police.
Yeah.
you call the police and then you just say, look, I'm calling the police. Either you back out and you go, or I'm calling an officer.
Policies.
And
Yeah.
this is the policy, period. And they gotta know that they just gotta pick up the
They
phone.
had to do it in the middle of the season last year, go from $10 to $20 on the non-residents.
And that was
the
trouble.
votes increase, and they had to do it, and they did it, they pushed through. Okay,
I think and also if we couch it in terms of being responsive to the taxpayers, being able to use a town resource, given priority because they're paying taxes on it.
Yeah.
I'll let John
The bo-
help me
The
talk
Board
about
of
that
Selectmen will be more amenable to that, and then we can, let the townspeople know, we heard you.
We're trying.
We're trying, this is the first step.
part. Do you want me to bring that, print it up, and I'll propose it when I talk about all the fees? Okay.
Provided everybody on the board's okay with it.
I'm fine,
Do we need to take a vote?
yes.
Yeah, you would, because it's a fee increase.
Okay.
Vote to recommend.
All right, so I will vote to recommend to the Board of Selectmen that we raise the non-resident car and boat fee to $50 each
Per
Per
day.
day.
per day. We are restricting walk-ins to residents only with a 10-person capacity until capacities are lifted.
And it'll be no fee for residents to walk in.
No, because there's still
No,
a fee if they drive.
there's still the $5, there'll still be a $5 per person fee to walk in.
Okay,
Because, so,
even their okay,
yes,
because
they can walk in, residents can walk in, but they
Okay.
have to pay the
Okay,
$5.
so that's a different question then, because, I mean,
So-
99% of the time residents are gonna have their $10 sticker.
Well, but here's the thing. So I will tell you this happened today.
I guess it's further
I
discussion
was,
time.
while I was there, sorry, further discussion. Well, the $50 thing is separate, kind of, from the resident fee, but today, there were children who the parent I know bought a sticker and has a sticker on their car,
And let the kids.
but the children walked from home because I'm assuming the parent wasn't available to drive them.
Because I was kind of thinking, whereas who's going to want to walk in most of the time, and that's, I would think, a non-resident would see the fee and be like, oh, no, I'm
But-
just going to park and walk in. There's one or two of us and see that.
We track that in the gatehouse. So if those kids come in and say who they are, and we happen to know who they are,
Right.
and
Do
I
you
happen
think
to know
they should
the
pay
parent-
$5 a person?
Well, I can look in the thing and go, okay, they already
You have
their
a sticker. So now there's
don't know.
now there's not a that's where I'm
That's
at.
different.
I have a sticker.
If you
Not that
decide
I
to
can
bike
walk
there, if
there,
you decide to
but-
bike there, should you have to pay?
If I already have a sticker, right. So are you going to keep records and say, if you already have a sticker, you don't have to pay? Or are you just going to be, your only residents are allowed to walk in?
Would-
Don't charge
That's why
them?
I'm saying
what I'm
$5
wondering.
per resident to walk in is high. If you're only letting residents
That's-
walk
And
in,
I agree with you.
Yeah.
then it's
Then
$2.
$2.
Or nothing.
Or
If it's-
whatever.
We have to,
No, they have to pay.
That's
Because
reasonable.
everybody else has to pay to get into the park.
Yeah.
Just because you're walking in does not.
right. But how do you
mean-
feel if you bought a season sticker already?
I wouldn't be walking into the park. I would be driving because
Unless the
I
parking
can't-
lot was full.
Then I would not go. I personally would not go if the parking lot was full.
I would.
But
And I'd park on the side and pay my $25 parking ticket.
I don't carry anything if I don't have to.
If you can show proof, bring your registration with you.
If you can show that you already have a sticker.
We know who these kids are. We can look it up in the tax record. You know what I mean? Like, if they say, my parent is, Sue Smith, and I look in and this is the address. Oh, yep, you already bought your
So
sticker.
we would propose it as it's $5 per person per walk-in, waived if you already have a season pass.
As long as you have a way of tracking who has a season pass.
We do.
Which they do. They record every single person
Yep.
that buys a season pass through car registration, address. So if they can say where they live and everything.
Yep.
So it would be, okay. So do we have to start over then?
Yeah, hold on a second, I'm breaking everything out.
Yeah, but I just worry that these people who are town residents who are trying to sneak their friends in just go, okay, just tell them you're with me, and then it gets waived.
Are
and
they,
you get
are they walking in?
Yeah.
Town residents bring a few friends and they're walking in.
John just said he feels the fee should be lower for the walk-ins.
For residents, it's $2.
$2.
That's what I.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree, and I think the $5 was more in line if
there was
it
a
was gonna be non-residents and residents, and we
Now-
were staying at the
now we're
$20.
taking the non-residents
It's,
out.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
changing
Is it $2
per
per
person.
person regardless of whether they have a pass or not?
Yes. That's,
Or you could waive it if they have a sticker.
If they have a sticker.
unless they can prove that they have a.
I think it could be waived if they can prove that they have a sticker. Now, to do what David talked about, there's always gonna be an exception where you can't ID everybody in the group of people. If somebody lives down the street and they have 4 friends over and they wanna go walk in, and they're with the resident,
There has to be some.
they could have ridden in the car together, so they should be able to walk in together. You know what I mean?
Discretion amongst the gate staff.
Yeah.
They have to be able to make
Let
that
them
call.
decisions.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing if you have a car that seats, I know some people that had a car that seats 10 people, and you could have a few friends over, and they could be
Well,
from out of
yes,
town,
yes,
and you
yes,
would pay your $20, you'd pay your $10 for the car, and everybody in your car would come in. So it's the same thing. You have a couple friends over, they come in with the residents, so,
It is
yeah,
what
it is.
And we're not gonna get money from every single
No.
person.
Okay.
We're just trying to, like you said, take a burden off the taxpayers so maybe they can use a resource more
That is okay.
freely.
Right. All right, so
That they're
here
already
are
paying.
our
I completely
recommendations for the board. The first one is, someone will have to make a motion on this, to raise the non-resident boat and car fee to $50 a day.
Okay.
So who's got a motion for that?
I'll make a motion that we raise the non-resident car and boat fee to $50 a day.
I'll second.
Lisa, second. Any further discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
John,
John abstains.
he gets to vote on it later.
All right, our second recommendation to the Board of Selectmen is that there will be no non-resident walk-ins allowed.
I make a motion to have walk-ins only with proof of where residency, $2 per person, waived if you can prove you have a season sticker.
That's the third recommendation.
Leave it
So this-
separate?
This is the.
Okay, so I make
just
a motion.
No non-resident
Okay.
walk-ins.
I make a
Okay.
motion that walk-ins only allowed with proof of where residence only.
2 seconds.
I second.
Correction. Make a motion to recommend to the Board of Selectmen.
I make a motion to recommend to the Board of Selectmen that walk-ins be permitted with proof of where residency only.
Any further discussion?
Need a reset.
I second.
Lisa, we second the amendment.
Any further discussion? What, do you have a question?
Yes. For the walk-in thing, if they have a season's pass, and is for car and boat, like if they just have a boat season's pass.
It would be a car pass, but yeah, we have it checked off.
Even
We
if
already
they
covered
bought a
that.
season pass for a boat.
Yeah, we
they could
covered it.
walk in, yeah. Basically, if they've paid already for an admission fee, we're not gonna continue to charge them if they choose to walk in. Okay,
Any further discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Do you abstain?
So,
Hold on, we got one more.
no, I wanna hear you say it.
All right, our third recommendation to the Board of Selectmen will be that residents may walk in to Chase Park for a $2 fee unless the homeowner renter has already purchased a season pass, and then the fee will be waived.
So I
I'm
make
not sure I
a,
like the wording of that.
try this one. I make a motion to recommend to the Board of Selectmen that the walk-in where resident fee is $2 per person, waived only if they can prove they bought a season sticker.
That's better.
Sorry.
Make motion to recommend walk-in fee
$2 per person for
to,
where resident only, waived if they can prove they've purchased a season sticker.
I'm getting a recorder.
We all have voice on our phones, right?
If they have proof of
purchase season sticker, season pass, season sticker.
Okay. So that was Janine.
We need a second.
I'll second.
Okay.
All
Further
in favor?
discussion?
Further discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. John abstains?
Okay. We're tabling the separate fund. Are we good with closing up section 6?
Yes.
7, 4th of July, police detail, please report.
I called.
We had talked about it earlier that we
Yeah,
wanted it.
Yeah. I called and I'm waiting.
Did they give you prices? Did they say
We got
yes?
the prices earlier.
I don't remember.
$70 an hour or $75 an hour?
$71 an
We'll just
hour.
say 75. How many hours do we want? We have to have a money
4th
to
of July?
say yes. Do not-
9.
Do we do 11 hours?
Purpose of the detail.
So
Because we had issues
2 years ago.
and lots of 4th of July.
it's the time the police are always called the most to the lake.
Okay.
It's to enforce the busiest day of the year, especially this year being on a Saturday.
And keep our staff safe.
We have the most
Drinking, smoking, marijuana.
trouble with not parking on the street, just everything in general.
So I did talk to the chief today about this.
The
when I
police
saw this
chief,
on here.
Chief Moore?
Yes. And they are still in their COVID scheduling, so they are only running 2 people a day. And right now, one of our full-timers is out on surgery. So that particular officer is out. So if a detail is gonna be requested, it's gonna have to be like ASAP.
It was already requested.
It was requested, and we didn't
I
even
think-
get a
I think it
Weare
was
police.
actually-
We didn't
We
get a
had a
Weare
sheriff
police
last
officer
year.
last year.
It was
We-
actually
Hillsborough
Hills,
Sheriff.
it was Hillsborough County Sheriff.
They
He
put
actually
it- they
lives,
put it out.
he lives right down at the bottom of,
Yeah, he was a Weare resident.
he lives down at the bottom of,
So does that call, when you request from the Weare PD, does the call go out to
They
everyone, or
put
do
it,
you?
they put it out to other people. They
Okay.
try to fill it.
So, talking with Chief Moore, talk with Chief Moore about it before you go and put it out to other, run it through internal.
I think they do.
They do it. That's
do
on
it.
them.
Yep.
They put it out.
Because he had some options that he and I discussed, that may benefit Parks and Rec.
Who did you? who
I
did
called
you-
I called the police department just like we normally
So you just
would.
talked to the secretary to the phone?
Emily?
I talked to Emily. Yep.
Okay.
So should you think she should try to reach out to
Reach out to Chief Moore tomorrow.
For
the
Ask-
police detail?
Yep, tell him that you're interested in the police detail, because he needs to try to get a volunteer. Because right now, he believes that only one officer may volunteer for it, otherwise he's gonna have to go outside of the department.
yeah, that's what they told me on the phone. They're probably gonna have to
So-
go outside of the department.
But even then, it's volunteer, so you may not get a detail.
Yeah. No, we know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's working on that, going outside of the department.
Okay, because Chief hadn't heard about this one.
Oh,
Really? So I
Okay.
better make another call.
yes, that's,
Talk to the chief
All right.
tomorrow.
okay, so he didn't, so Chief Moore didn't know about it, so.
He said it's a very fine conversation with him.
You can always message him on Facebook. He's pretty receptive there too. If you can't get through on the phone.
He is working he's working through the rest of this week.
All right.
And just to provide more background as to why we asked for police details 2 years ago, on 4th of July, we ended up having to call the police anyways. And we were proactive last year in arranging a detail
And it was amazing.
and significantly cut down on the amount of trouble that,
We had to call the police. It was
Yeah.
illegal drugs
yeah.
and a fight. A
There
fight
was a
actually
fight.
broke out. Residents and non-residents and the whole, yeah, an actual. Okay. How many hours do we want the police detail? We have to make a motion to approve the money to pay for the police detail.
What did we pull it out of from last year?
Karen did all the billing for where it came out of and what. But I don't know how, outside services? Chase Park supplies a pretty
I don't
thin
think it
line.
came, I don't think it came from Chase Park's budget.
Outside services, I would assume that's, I mean,
Yeah. It was
it came
outside.
from our budget.
water safety?
No, from Chase Park budget or from Park and Rec budget?
Chase
It came from
Parks,
Parks and Rec.
Right,
budget.
I know Park and Rec paid for it, but I don't know what line. it
Either
came from.
outside or employee or payroll.
they didn't put it in wages, cause they're not our wage employee. So it would have been like outside services or, yeah, I can't really see it going anywhere else.
So 10 hours is $700.
We didn't do 10 hours. What time did the police officer leave
He had, well,
last time?
He was
we
there
had
at
him for
opening.
10 hours. We
Yeah,
had
we
him from
did.
the opening till, I think, till 6. He ended up leaving
We had him
early.
I don't want to say it was 8 to 5. I want to say it was like 9 to 5.
Yeah, but he ended up leaving like an hour early, I
So
thought.
we only paid for the hours he was there because
Yeah.
it got quiet. Do we like 9 to 5 then? I mean,
I would think you'd want it later.
it
No,
gets
it's-
quiet.
it's-
It gets
it's-
quiet. As soon as this, as soon
And there's
as
no
it gets-
fireworks in town this year?
Trouble's not
Yeah,
in
there's
the
no-
It'd be a
evening.
lot more
Yeah.
on the lake, though.
I hear about that. We'll see.
There's no New Boston fireworks or anything else like that
I don't
either.
think there's any fireworks anywhere right
Yeah.
now.
Well, they said the fireworks sales for personal people is really up.
Yes.
Well, we could do it
So we could
later
do 10 hours and
Yeah,
they,
call-
we're
call
only
if we
gonna,
want.
yeah, we're only gonna pay, if they leave early, we only pay for when they were there. So we could do 10 hours, so that would be 9 to 7.
Well, you may need 2 people then.
What do you mean,
Can
2
they do-
people?
Will
Oh,
the officer,
a length of a shift that they can work?
can the officer
I
work?
think it's a
9 to
special detail. I think it's different than their regular.
No, there's still a limited amount of hours.
I'll ask Chief tomorrow.
Well, we could approve, we could make a motion to approve up to $750.
Yeah.
And then we could,
Yeah.
we can always pay less, we wouldn't go over that.
Yeah, that works.
So who's gonna make a motion?
Okay.
I'll make the motion, pay up to $750 for the police detail for the 4th of July.
I second it. Any discussion? Further discussion? Public comment?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
Aye. Parking capacity, any word on when that's gonna get waived or lifted?
talked to
Did you-
Naomi
yes,
today.
75% was a hope, anything?
I talked to Naomi today, and she said that we were gonna stick with what the state's doing for now. That's what I was told. It doesn't mean we can't ask, but that's what I was told.
So we can ask again, I can bring it up again at the Board of Selectmen and ask, even 75%, something. And what we had to do last time when we did the fees, we tried to make it effective immediately. And last year, they pushed me back past the 4th of July holiday, I remember.
So we
We
wanted,
can try doing it effective immediately, we'd like to.
if we start it for, like, if you see that, meet them
July
on
1st.
Monday,
I'm meeting on
it's
Monday.
effective July 1st, so Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
Okay, all right.
And we will get it out on social media.
Additional staff for the 4th of July, I think we normally just schedule 3 people on the weekends, and there was a
I would put
recommendation
it
of,
at like 4 or 5. Because you're gonna need people to make sure that people park in spots and not
Yeah.
in boat spots.
Yeah, we're having a lot of trouble with that. So I did talk to Kristen about it. Same thing. She had said
do we all agree, a couple extra people? Maybe not necessarily
During
all
the busy
day or
time.
During the
okay.
busy time, and then we can always adjust their hours
yeah.
Okay,
elsewhere.
I feel that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I did talk to Kristen about that too, about having to make an adjustment with hours. We're somewhere else where we might have to have a supervisor if it's her, or have a couple hours here and there where if it's quiet, it's just them. Thing. I mean, we haven't had
Okay.
any rainy days, so we're worried about the budget. Please,
Hot-
if you're watching, you have
Hot,
to vote for our
wonderful
budget.
days. All right, I had a leader of Troop 24 request, and she didn't fill out a facility use form because she wanted to make sure it's even plausible before she did that. The Boy Scouts, I know groups are allowed 50 or fewer now.
Yes.
And
They have to have a waiver, Daniel Webster Council is requiring that they have a waiver signed by parents to participate. They have to maintain the 6 feet when possible.
Troop 24 was hoping to have
Meetings.
meetings, so it would be Thursday nights. They usually meet at,
Every Thursday night,
um,
they want to have their meetings at Chase.
for right now, keeping it outdoor. I think that makes it a little bit more
How are you gonna work parking?
open.
That's
No,
no.
you can't do that. They're Thursday nights at 7:00. They can't get in
Okay.
because
She
the,
said
So,
that she.
if
I
it's
did-
not weekly, at least one meeting specifically to work on a canoe badge, maybe 2 meetings to work. I mean, I can.
That's
canoeing
that's
for
that's
different.
different.
Yep.
That's different.
Oh,
you know?
I'm talking about both options.
Okay.
I'm talking about both options. I mean, I believe the schools are closed.
Their fields are open.
The fields are open.
Yep.
They can't, not the playgrounds, but they're letting the fields. Okay. So, I mean, I'm just
Yep.
kind of weighing
And
out everything.
They also have the gazebo field. They can meet at the gazebo.
So right now, we're feeling Chase Park would be okay if it was a special 1 or 2 nights for a working on a badge, whether it's a canoeing or a fishing. And as far as parking goes at 7 o'clock on a Thursday, I really highly doubt there's any problem. There's usually 2 or 3 cars.
She actually said, I ran into her today too, so she actually said she'd have to move the meeting to 6. So,
She have to meet the move 6? Why did she say? Because it gets dark.
The dark, because
Okay.
the park closes at 8, so she'd have to move it to 6.
Yeah.
So I think that would be their risk, that if we're full.
Well, and yeah, and that's,
Yeah.
and I don't think parking's a problem. 6 o'clock, it's not.
Yeah.
It's never,
Why does it have to be Chase Park?
They have a canoeing badge that they're working on.
Okay.
So here's the
They've
thing.
actually had-
Technically, they don't even need to ask.
they've actually
They could
had,
come in,
they've
right?
actually had overnights in the past there. They've been allowed to camp. They've had court of honors there.
Yeah.
They've done campouts and stuff, and it's just
Yeah.
a really nice place with the beach and stuff, so.
But technically,
So
for a
it's kind
meeting,
of-
I don't think they have to ask.
Well, they are an organization with their own insurance.
Yeah.
Not only that,
No.
it's a capacity issue right now.
It's just a capacity thing. But if it was some other group that came in,
Like a
as
church
long as
group
they're-
in the
like a church
van that
group
just
or
shows
somebody
up and
just
they
shows
go.
they don't have to
It's
ask.
true. They do ask for, so they are also asking, Troop's not really letting them, BSA is not letting them do sleepovers yet, I believe. I don't think they are.
Yeah.
So
No,
they've
they're
not been
not.
cleared for
They've only
sleepover.
they've only allowed the virtual campouts.
Right, so they're not cleared for sleepover, but that was also kind of a just test the waters of if it does get cleared for, could
That's
they
a different
do
story. That we
camp
need
out?
to figure out.
Okay, so like what we're basically saying is they don't
They're at
need,
their own.
they don't need to request for permission. If they want to show up there at 6 o'clock
Well-
and have meetings on Thursday nights.
Meeting on Thursday night.
Meeting.
They
I-
cannot have their troop meetings at
But I
Chase.
have a question though. Why not if we don't
No,
if we don't request a
know.
facility use form? If they can just come as residents and meet at the lake you could have a
But
mom's
you-
group meet every Tuesday at 2 o'clock.
If you have 50% capacity, you're gonna say, okay, half the kids can't come in.
Well, no, once every other spot's filled,
Yeah,
they
but
can't,
then-
they can't,
but-
so it's their own risk.
But here's the other thing is that you're going to have 12 scouts in 12 cars.
Mm-hmm,
So,
That's almost half of your parking.
right.
that's
right,
almost
right.
half your parking.
right. Who's been there 6 o'clock on a weeknight lately?
But-
There's 2 cars in the parking lot.
I have. I was there last night.
Were there 4 cars?
There were 9 cars and there were a bunch of people and they were having problems getting them off the beach
At 6 o'clock?
at 8 o'clock
As
at
hot
night.
as it is
I
right
would-
now, doesn't surprise me.
So but I mean, and that would be the risk the Boy Scouts would bring somebody by at 5:30, do a drive-by and go, there's not enough parking, we can't do it, or.
I would recommend that they look to the gazebo field for their regular weekly Thursday night meetings. And if they're doing their canoe requirements or their fishing requirements.
Or swimming or anything
Or-
like
But do
that.
they need permission? That's
No,
the main question, they don't need permission.
But here's the thing is, how are they getting their canoes in? Do they have a trailer? Is each scout bringing their own canoe?
I have no idea,
Is
I
it one or
didn't
two? Because I know my troop has a canoe trailer. We get 12 canoes on it. So that's taking up,
Well, that's just a boat parking spot and they're not limited.
right. So,
I just think having 12 cars, 12 parents showing up and you're gonna
12
run into.
90% of
and then
them
you-
drop off for all meetings, literally, 3 adults stay with cars. So, I mean, in the way that's been in the past with the troop meetings, nobody stays.
They're gonna have to have. They're
So
gonna
you
have to have
drop-
stickers.
I just,
Right.
I just say at this point, they can have it for a one-off, but their regular meetings, we can offer them the gazebo field.
But they
Because then
don't
have to-
technically have to ask permission.
Nope.
So they're taking their chance on showing up and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I didn't know how that worked, as far as facility use and stuff like that.
They have to have a
Yes,
sticker.
they're parking, absolutely. They would definitely need a sticker.
The overnight thing is a whole different
Okay,
scenario.
do you have any non-Ware residents on that troop?
No.
There's one,
Oh,
Henniker. We have one boy from Henniker. He could honestly carpool
Yep.
with another parent if we were worried about it.
No, I can see giving an exception for that.
Yeah, for the one.
For that one time deal. Yeah, I have no problem giving an exception. I have an issue with the scheduling right now.
it's just so hot, it just, yeah, it was, how hot it is and how. if
Well, you
it's-
have to even think if there's a mom's group in town, like, hey, let's have a play date, let's be at the lake on Tuesday
show
at
up.
2. It's their chance on if it's full or not. It really is their chance. I mean, I have to say,
But to request it and schedule it, if, I can just see a problem.
We
If
park-
get nine vehicles in.
Right.
10, 11, and 12
Right.
can't come in.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Park makes
we're-
no promises that there is a spot for them.
We never do.
Use at your own risk and stuff.
Hold on,
And
we know you're there.
Sleepovers would be, we would visit that in the future.
Yeah.
That would be something we'd future visit. Okay.
Hi.
I think, does anybody else have to discuss anything or talk, or,
Not for scouts, but I do want to acknowledge
They're
our,
saying that they have to pay for the car spot. And
Yep.
And you said 90% of them walk in sometime, or
drop
drop
off?
off. So if they walked in, would they have to pay
It won't
for the
be-
walk?
They would pay
They're-
$2
Yeah.
if they
Yeah,
drop
if
their
they
kid
could-
outside the gate. We were
Yeah,
just
they're
talking about
resident-
parking
if they can
capacity
prove,
wise.
but if they prove they're already paid a sticker, they
Right,
don't need to.
but basically what we're saying is car capacity, yes, they're driving in there whether they have their sticker or not, but they're not gonna fill the parking spots for the whole 2 hours.
If it's a one-time meeting, just don't charge them. It's for the Boy Scouts. If it's a one-time meeting.
And they're in a
it's
Boy
there.
Scout
We
uniform.
trade you some raking.
85% of them have lake stickers.
Yeah.
We're outdoorsy
The
people.
Boy Scouts of America, as far as I know, is nonprofit.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
That's correct.
If they want to
You're
come
gonna
in,
have people to rake them off.
if they want to come in and use it for one meeting for a 2-hour block, if there's parking, come on in. And if the kids are in uniform, and that particular night, come on in and do your thing.
Yep.
Consider it a donation, if you will.
Okay,
And if we really want to get that technical about it, I'll pay the damn fee.
I think we need to be real careful about that part of it, but.
well, let's hear it.
I
This
just
is
think
time to
that they're-
talk about it.
Their regular
I have to go to
meetings-
Bolton Field and figure out the irrigation tonight, like when I leave here, so I'm not gonna talk about it any further. But
What
I
am I
do,
supposed
but
to
I,
tell
but I
Marcia?
worry that I think that we need to tell, I worry about that, about just, oh, well, we're gonna let them do it. Because if we let them do it, then it's somebody else who's like, you know what I mean? Like, I
It's
think
a
it'll.
one-time nonprofit.
Right.
It
Yeah,
opens a
it
can of
would be a
worms.
one-time meeting and then
They're not
offer
really
them the,
using all the facilities are there for, what, a 2-hour block maybe?
Yeah.
And
They're gonna be fishing, canoeing, and swimming possibly.
So if they're doing a one-time
And using the bathroom.
okay, if they're doing a one-time fee for a meeting in the uniform. I mean,
I don't think we need to worry
we've
about
done
it. They've all got stickers.
They do all stickers, and we've actually had summer camp pre-swim and
And
stuff.
they should be
you know,
having
we've met stuff
stickers.
there.
They should have
Okay.
stickers.
All right. I think you guys have answered all my questions. I'm thinking they want to be there more than one time, so I think it's fair for them to have ticket stickers. It's not too much to ask.
Okay.
If we waive the fee for the Henniker person for one time or do rides, I think we'll figure that out, but I think that's fine.
And the overnight we'll discuss later.
Yeah, future, because I don't think that wasn't her biggest concern. It was just mostly, can I get the canoe in the water? Can we be there? You know? And
Yeah.
if it's not full to capacity, yes. That's the answer. If it's not full to capacity, you can. And we don't need a facility use for them. You just take it at your own risk. Okay.
Irrigation.
Committee, yep. What do you wanna say?
Irrigation is like the bane of my existence.
Bolton's
And
still yellow.
Bolton is
Nice little green polka dots.
yes. Bolton's having trouble.
How was the base? Did the
We do have
turn on while you were playing
Yes.
baseball?
They've turned on while we were playing baseball tonight, which is very irritating because
Did you cool off at least?
no, only 2 on the left field line.
four.
Four.
Because I went, oh my god.
So you're gonna go tonight and fix it?
So I'm gonna go down tonight because there's
I'll go
something
with you.
wrong. Thank you. And so we'll go down tonight and fix it.
Okay.
The person who did go there today to repair, and he says that the baseball field is up and running, which is awesome because we had a couple that were just kind of water
He
oozing
repaired
out.
all the heads and
He
everything.
repaired all the heads. It's all set. So there's something still wrong with the clock, and that would be my fault. So I will.
What
go
about Inison?
look at it. Inison's great.
It's working. It's turning green.
Yo, Inison, as soon as I got Inison up and running, and he went over and made a couple of adjustments.
Is it turning green? I haven't been there.
It looks great
does.
in comparison to the other fields.
Okay.
Does Carrington not have?
Purington
No.
does not have irrigation. It's a whole
dump.
separate,
Dump.
awful
It's a dump.
issue.
All right.
I drove by there today and it was.
Yeah. Sad.
Any more irrigation comments, concerns? I mean, it looks like Tim's pretty much online to get it working and up and running. We have to tweak it, fine tuning,
Yep.
try to save the day.
Yep.
Hope for some rain.
I've been down there forcing it on the last few days.
Oh, you did, yeah.
All right.
Okay. Next step, park Facebook page.
I've added you as
An admin.
an
And it
admin.
worked.
I cannot add you as an admin because we're not friends. You don't want to be admins. So are we okay with just keeping Janine and I as admins for the Facebook page?
Or do we need another one?
Okay.
As long as the minimum of 2, I think it's
Yeah,
fine.
as long as we have minimum 2, we're good.
All right. And you can get onto the page and everything and,
I haven't tried to post
Okay.
anything, but it asked me and I approved it, so.
okay.
I'm
All right. So
assuming
then
it's
you
all
should
set.
be all set.
Okay.
We've only had a couple of messages about hours and the pictures of the turtles.
Yeah.
The woman had sent a message saying, there's some turtle nests. She was out walking. So that's when I emailed you guys, and
Oh, that was a Facebook
so
message.
we got that
Okay.
set up. And that really is,
Do you like the idea of me maybe putting a post out there about, that we have open spots for volunteers?
yes.
Okay, okay.
There's Reiki involved.
No. All volunteers for this.
Here.
That's
Here.
what I meant.
Must, like irrigation and rake, wait, your daughter said there's enough rakers.
She's wrong. I walked the park today. It's not getting raked to where it should be. So.
Okay. Is that good?
Yep.
Next,
We'll get there.
more updates?
Do we have any? No, nothing else for Facebook.
Okay. Pickleball, she emailed me.
Again.
Thank you for the porta potties. It was amazing. She was so happy. Pass it on to everybody at pickleball.
Porta potties or
Porta potty.
Porta potty.
I said it plurally. This Saturday they're having a cleanup day at the court. We're asking the group to help with leaf removal, grass removal on the court, ant removal, and so the real issue is they make the sand that creates a slipping damage. They're hoping to get rid of them. They're going to do brush cleanup. We hope to get everything looking good for the rest of the season, and she's also working on quotes to repair the court for the future needs. Once she has those, she'll be in touch. Thank you again for the support from the committee.
I have a scout that will be making a presentation for Eagle to build stairs.
Oh,
Nice.
So I don't know when that presentation will be coming, but that is coming.
step one, the decision's been made.
Yeah,
All right,
kicking and screaming, but it's been made.
Chase Park complaints. Anybody else pickleball?
Nope.
Okay.
So we had somebody swimming in the cove, and apparently
So
they
that's
almost got.
behind the beach.
Yep. Apparently, so if you walk out towards the beach is on the left, the cove is on the right. When I was a kid, and everybody who was in town remembers, swimming was more than welcome out there. However, there's a sign up that says you're not to be on the rocks and you're not to swim over there. There's no swimming.
So basically, past the rocks is off limits for swimming.
Basically,
'Cause that's where the line
the sandy
ends.
area
Yeah.
is where swimming should be.
Yep.
And the cove to the right is where swimming should not be, according to the new signs that are up. It's a real bummer because, but
Who
we're
voted the new signs? We can vote them down if
Those-
you want to vote them down.
well.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
I mean, I never swam
The park
over
has
there.
changed. The capacity of the
I
town
heard
has
it's not
changed.
even nice to swim over these rocks. It's like
There's a sandbar. It's really cool to swim
Is
out
it?
over there. Yeah. There's a sandbar. There used to be a dock. It was really nice, but the person who complained, and I have to say he's right. If somebody almost got hit by a boat, then- because they're
boating's
swimming
allowed in there.
and it's not
No ropes.
roped off, then that's a danger.
I always thought people fished over there. I
Can
don't
we
know how to
post
be.
it as a swim at your own risk?
I don't want to swim where there's hooks.
No,
what are
we're
the
gonna
signage?
tick
What does
off
the signage
the-
say right now?
The complaint was, it says no swimming.
Okay.
The complaint was that the people who live in the cove, who have houses or camps on the cove, are saying, look, that nobody else on the whole lake has to deal with somebody swimming from Chase Park over except for us.
Well, that's not my fault they bought the property there. I'm more at risk worried about kids or people in the water where there's no swim lines and boats are allowed.
Yeah.
Boats are allowed there.
Yeah.
I mean, they chose to buy property.
And so they asked
They can
for,
see the beach when they bought the property or the beach
Or
was
don't
built.
know.
I know not everyone bought the property after
Yeah.
the beach was built, but
yeah.
it's not a hardship.
It's not where we police. I understand his concern. There is a sign that says no
If there's
swimming.
a sign, we can't do
They
anything
expect
else.
us to enforce it. And
Okay.
they want more signs. And I'm like, I'm not putting up more signs. I'm sorry. The park's littered with signs now.
I'd say just change it to swim at your own risk.
If it says no swimming, we can just leave it. We don't need to change the
We
sign.
can't control who swims where.
Yeah.
We have a sign.
All
We can
do
ask-
Is they're swimming in the roped off area, that's where
It-
the lifeguard is.
Now that we have a lifeguard, now he's going to be the police. He could radio and say somebody's in the cove.
Yeah.
You know what I
If he
mean?
sees
There's
them.
not much. Yeah, if he sees
His back
them.
will be to them. So anyway,
What happens if somebody else is digging parking there, so.
Right,
Yeah.
Tell them no.
Well, and that's the thing.
right. We don't know if it's a resident going from their place.
I take that
right?
personally. That was aimed in my direction.
Is it aimed in that general direction?
Okay, so cove
So
swimming, we have
cove swimming.
signs. All right,
We already have a
so
sign. Car and boat registration required. We had some more jerks that
we
are.
had to post on Facebook. It was the boat registration.
No, not everybody reads Facebook.
Hmm?
But
Oh, yeah.
Current.
it's illegal to
Current.
drive a car without a registration.
We posted the.
It's
the
illegal to put a
RSA.
boat in the
It's
water
not
without
okay.
registration.
We're not the police, all we can say is if you don't have current registration, you can't launch from this, that's it.
I did
Yeah.
give Kristen the RSA that Pam gave, printed both sides with the law stated from the New Hampshire in a clear clear paper protected, and she did, I think she had to show it to the
She's
guy.
had to show it.
The guy goes, well, that's fine, that's the state. Where does it say it's a town law?
Oh,
Doesn't matter.
no, the
State
state
trumps us.
State trumps
state
us
trumps-
unless we have something new
So then
to
we could
supersede
add
that.
to the price list, we require a current car registration
But-
and current boat registration.
It's the law.
But we need to put it on the price list that says. we
Does
want
everybody
boat-
agree I should add it on the price list with all our new
Yeah,
fees,
just
the
do
car
it because
registration
somebody's gonna
card?
complain.
I don't agree with it, but whatever.
I know.
It's just to,
I'll recommend to the Board of Selectmen, the
I don't
whole
think it
thing will
needs
be on
to,
there.
I don't think it needs, is it on there now?
No,
I don't think it needs to be on there now. But
it's a law. I mean, it's a state.
if we
Well,
have
there's
it,
a lot of laws, and we can't.
Yeah, we can't post everything, right?
we're not the police, but we can say if someone comes in to buy a sticker for their boat, show us your registration. We need to
Current
know
registration.
the
Current.
current registration. We need to know that there is a
And we do
legal
have,
entity
and we have that law
says
to back that. We have that
this
RSA.
boat is registered.
Yeah.
And here is the RSA if you have questions about it. And if you don't have your
Way too
registration,
much stuff on paperwork, nobody.
They're not gonna read it. Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
We had a boat inspection complaint that the boat wasn't inspected thoroughly enough. The boat owner.
Said that the person who did the inspecting did not
Thorough? Not thorough.
was not thorough and did not ask the questions. So we need to remind staff that they have to go through
There's a checklist?
checklist of where was this boat last
Does
in the
Kristen
water.
have the checklist there and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Do we
will
have to
remind
reinforce
staff.
that?
do we have a clipboard that they go through and,
yes.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
And the boat owner has to sign it. The boat
Okay.
owner has to, I mean, I know that because I've watched Nicholas do it. He's handed
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
He's handed the person that says, okay, here's all the questions.
Yeah,
You
so I
agree?
guess
Yes,
the
sign here.
questions weren't asked and the person did not inspect it.
like get down on the
Wow.
ground and actually looking up in every area because
So-
that's the big
So this
thing.
is a training issue.
It's a training issue.
It's a reminder issue.
Okay. We had talked about should kayakers be allowed to use boat parking spots because in all actuality they are going into the water in a
No.
boat device. Unless they choose to trailer. If they have a trailer for the kayaks. Okay. Okay.
Part of that question, I brought it up with you too, was that if they're not on the beach, then they're taking our current spots.
But like you
that we
said,
have, But
50% of the boaters come back and use the beach after.
they do,
So-
So a lot of, well, not 50%, but yeah,
You
the
have
kayakers
a lot
definitely do.
more car parking spaces than you do boat spaces.
Yeah, and the kayak people do actually
Hang out on the
hang
beach.
out more.
And the future business, we don't even need to bring it up really. I mean, we talked about tire swings. I know it's nothing's important right now. Irrigation and the lake are important.
Yeah, Mr. Balls has not, he's waiting on pricing anyway to get back to
Okay,
me.
and then the basketball nets, that's, when we get a chance. I just wanted to have it on here that we would bring it up in the
Discuss it
future, sunshades and stuff like that.
Kayakers.
So what I'll do is I'll write some stuff up for the Board of Selectmen. I'll email it to everybody. and you
I
can
want to
tell
bring
me.
one more thing
Oh,
up.
sure, go
Under
ahead.
Chase Park complaints.
Okay, sorry.
I strongly feel that we should be able to ask people to leave. if
Oh,
they're not
yes.
following the rules.
And I thought we always could.
So,
I-
and I think that, so it got brought up the other day, and I messaged Naomi asking the question about at what point. So, the person, who called one of our teenage people a not so nice word, and the teenager was handling it as best she possibly could. That person later on in the park, and I knew who she was because she'd been pointed out to me, was with a group of people who were very obviously smoking marijuana, but I couldn't catch them. But she was afterwards smoking a cigarette in the parking lot. And I went over to her and told her she needed to put it out and that she needed to leave.
Kind of a 2 strikes and you're out thing.
It was really 3 strikes at that point. So,
Well, you had 2 really good strikes with proof.
yeah.
And 1 suspected strike.
Yeah, 1 suspected strike. So I just want to know that we can ask people to leave.
I don't see why not. I feel the staff needs to feel comfortable with the people there, that
And if you
they're,
have suspected drug
Fu-
use, don't confront them. Call the police, that's what they're there for.
They were packing up, which is the only reason I didn't call. The group was packing up, and I couldn't tell it. I know where it was coming from, but I couldn't. They were going to leave. So.
I mean, you can go, how far do you want to go with that one?
Yeah.
So you let somebody knowingly drive away.
Under the
possibly
influence.
Good point.
that is a good point. And I do think that that our staff has the right within, I mean, unless we're hearing complaints about, oh, I did this and they're asking me to leave. But I feel that if they feel that somebody's not following the rules, why do we have rules if we can't enforce them? If we can't
Yeah.
enforce the rules and say, the
They
punishment is you have to
call- and then
leave.
they have to call,
It's gotten to the point.
If they're
As
not following the
early-
rules, you ask them to leave. If they
Yes.
refuse to leave, you call the police.
Yeah.
and
Yes.
Ask the police to help them leave.
That's what rules are for.
It has
is we
gotten
have
to the point
enforce the
where
rules.
I know Kristen is telling the same thing. There's no pets. There's no smoking. There's no vaping.
When
there's
they
no
enter-
drinking.
when they enter the park, they're
once
hearing
you've
that.
gotten to this point, you're not allowed anymore. We had somebody call the town offices today and insist that they could bring their dog, and they talked to Naomi because
Today, somebody called the town officer. to
there's
bring them-
nothing on the website that says that they couldn't bring the dog. There's a no dog sign there,
no pets.
so they're just it's people that are pushing
With the
it.
exception of service dogs.
Yeah,
Service dogs are always permitted.
Yeah.
Not emotional support guinea pigs or any of that.
So we need to add it to the website.
No, we might as well. Yeah. And what? We have to tell them everything.
No
That's
pets.
That's why I'm going back to putting it on the price list. Current boat registration. and
No,
current
no
dog.
animals except for service animals.
Because it's
And it's not emotional support. A service dog is a whole other. It's no pet. It's no.
yeah, but the service animal.
You can't say.
Be a registered service.
Yeah.
And the staff needs to be able to recognize a registered service animal
Yeah.
and not just a VESIS's service dog.
Yeah.
Their certifications.
We don't.
But
Yeah.
they're not to be confrontational with the people.
No. And staff are not. They've been.
They're, if anything, they're getting walked on because they're
Yeah.
not confrontational.
Yeah.
I made a surprise visit over there. What day was it?
2 days
Friday?
ago.
Saturday?
I wasn't very
Saturday?
surprised that
Might have
they
been Saturday. He called me after.
Okay.
So, after the police were called for an issue down there, and I talked to Kristen about it, and told them that what they're doing is right, and they need to know that they have the support of Parks and Rec and the Board of Selectmen, and I told her that.
Mm-hmm.
You guys feel that you need to contact the police, do it. If there's any question, do it. That's what they're there for.
The police can decide. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, we just need to make sure that everybody is aware of that. But if you feel the need to, make the call. You're not gonna be punished or penalized for.
Every single time
Yeah.
they have called or asked somebody to leave or report, I am 100% behind our staff. There's no complaint other than, I understand the boat inspection side of it. Other than that, I've been,
And that's just a training issue with your
Yep.
staff.
yep. And I completely side with our staff. I think they're doing amazing. I'm almost
Yeah.
glad to hear that they're calling the police because it means they're not standing there and taking it.
Yeah.
And it's really important. If we want this to be a safer, family-friendly, resident-friendly park, this is how it happens.
All right. So
All
what
right,
is it?
it's 10
Can I
o'clock.
make a motion?
Yep.
Sure.
Second.
Second.
Third.
9:58.
No, it's 10 o'clock.
It's 10 o'clock.
My clock says 10 o'clock.
This is the